So, as we get started, I do want to introduce the idea today. We're going to be talking a lot about parenting, and I want to start like David Young did last week with a letter. This letter that I'm going to start with is written by a guy by the name of Jim Elliot at 22 years of age to his parents. Here's what Jim Elliot writes. Now, Jim Elliot has come to the decision to go to the mission field and to serve an unreached tribe in Ecuador. So he writes to his parents saying this: "I do not wonder that you were saddened at the word of my going to South America. This is nothing else than what the Lord Jesus warned us of when he told the disciples they must become so," I love this line, "infatuated with the kingdom and following him that all other allegiances must become as though they were not. In fact, those loves which we regard as closest, he told us, must become as hate in comparison with our desire to uphold his cause." Now listen, he says, "Grieve not, mom and dad. Grieve not then if your sons seem to desert you, but rejoice rather, seeing the will of God done gladly. Remember how the psalmist described children. He said that they were as a heritage from the Lord and that every man should be happy who had his quiver full of them. And what is a quiver full of but arrows? And what are arrows for but to shoot? So, with the strong arms of prayer, draw the bowstrings back and let the arrows fly, all of them straight at the enemy's hosts." What a letter. It's a powerful letter that, if in plain English, in case there was something that might have been confusing, in plain English, he says, "Mom and Dad, I love you, but I love Jesus even more than you. And what I want you to do most right now, Mom and Dad, is send me like an arrow into the heart of the enemy." My question is, what, if anything, can we do to raise such spiritual champions? If there is anything that we can do, would you do it? And what, if anything, can we do to raise spiritual champions? You don't have to raise a Jim Elliot. Jim Elliot is Jim Elliot. And your son is your son. Your daughter is your daughter. But if there's something we could do, what would you do? And I just want to say a spiritual champion looks something like this. A spiritual champion will stick to the values of Christ in a secular culture. A spiritual champion swims upstream and takes the unpopular position. A spiritual champion holds fast to the faith when others walk away. They love God and deny self. They serve when others hate. They give when others take. And they love the church even at her worst. They would never abandon the church, even at her worst. So my question is, what can we do to contribute to the raising of spiritual champions, especially when it comes to that of the next generation? Even, yes, our 2020 babies. So first, let's take an assessment of where we are right now. And in his book, The Great Evangelical Recession, John Dickerson in 2013 compiled data to show what we're doing and really what the state of the church is concerning young people right now. It's grim data. It isn't pleasant. Many of you have heard this now for decades, but I'm just going to go ahead and share it anyway. Josh McDowell's research shows that 69% of evangelical teens are leaving the church after high school. Lifeway research shows that 70% of Christian millennials are not attending church any longer after the age of 23. And Barna estimates that 4 out of 5 young evangelicals will disengage from church by the age of 29. So I hate this data. I don't even like putting it in front of you because it's a kind of an emotional thing to read. It can be discouraging, a little bit even disheartening, but the data does point to a conclusion. It's not just floating data. And it points to this, the same thing that the scriptures have been teaching us for years, for thousands of years, that somewhere along the way our focus on programs, techniques, dollars, and ministry sizes, perhaps even powerful worship, distracted us from the basics. Basics. None of these things that we listed are bad. Ministry size is great. Programs are fantastic. As a dad myself, I just want to go ahead right now and say thank you to North Boulevard for everything that you do and everything that you do offer to support parents and grandparents and spiritual parents in raising up our children. But we must not abandon the basics. So to put it plainly, we can no longer rely on institutions to do what relationships alone can do. That's the point. And that's where the data drives. Or to even be more specific, because the chapter that we're going to deal with today talks about a specific relationship. We can no longer rely on programs to do what parents alone can do.
Hey, I'm John. And I'm Abby, and we are the hosts of Boulevard Online.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you will, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up by hitting the subscribe button right down here, right now.
If you'd like to watch the full message that this clip is from, click right here. Or if you want to watch another video, click right down here.
Hey, thanks for being with us. Until next time, be blessed.
And don't forget to be a blessing.